Today we're taking a look at the Los Angeles Clippers vs Utah Jazz match, which is happening on Tuesday, June 8, 2021, and giving you my betting tips and predictions in general on this game. Welcome back to High Stakes. Let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. And if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. 5 plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 270 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours and hours of your time searching the internet for some fake betting predictions and losing your money because of it. Join High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks and advices instantly. Los Angeles looked headed for another playoff heartbreak after dropping the first 2 games of its opening round series against Dallas, but won 4 of the next 5 matchups, turning in a dominant fourth quarter on Sunday at the Staples Center. After Dallas took a 79-76 lead midway through the third, Los Angeles unleashed a 24-6 run over the rest of the quarter, and the Mavericks never got back within single digits. After starting Reggie Jackson over Patrick Beverley, it'll be interesting to see what lineup Clippers coach Tyronn Lue goes with against the Jazz. Things will get significantly more difficult in this series, with Utah being both a top 5 offense and defense in the league, so it'll be a pick-you-poison kind of matchup in the opener. One thing is certain: Kawhi Leonard will have to continue to step up like he did in the previous series. The Mavs series version of Leonard looked like the player that led the Toronto Raptors to the top of the NBA mountain. Paul George is the only true wild card on the floor in the playoffs. Playoff P actually stands for playoff please show up. Opposing teams are only averaging 105.2 points per game in Utah, so the Clippers are going to need their big 2 to play like superstars to steal a game on the road. The Jazz are one of the best rebounding teams in basketball, so they should be able to crush the Clippers on the boards and limit their chances of second chance shot opportunities. Consecutive possessions are a good way to get burned fast by a 3-point shooting team like the Clippers. After dropping Game 1 at home, Utah took care of Memphis in dominant fashion with 4 straight wins while averaging 127 points per contest. The Jazz put away last Wednesday's deciding Game 5 early, outscoring Memphis by a whopping 47-27 margin in the first quarter, with a lead ballooning to as many as 31 points in the third. The Grizzlies managed to do it in the opener of the previous series, but Donovan Mitchell didn't play in that game. Once the star guard returned, the Grizzlies didn't win again. Some key injuries to note heading into this game is Serge Ibaka for the Clippers and Mike Conley for the Jazz. The Clippers have played enough without Ibaka to make his absence less significant for them in this series, but the Jazz depend heavily on Conley as one of the key contributors in their backcourt. He's the ball general on the floor. Utah has the best home record in basketball with a 31-5 run this season, so having home court advantage throughout the playoffs certainly plays into their favor. The goal right out of the gates should be to suffocate the Clippers defensively and cause a little self-doubt early in the game. Kawhi Leonard is going to do what he does, but if they can rattle the others, they can keep the Clippers on their heels. The Jazz are one of the best rebounding teams in basketball, so they should be able to crush the Clippers on the boards and limit their chances of second chance shot opportunities. Consecutive possessions are a good way to get burned fast by a 3-point shooting team like the Clippers. The Jazz are also an elite team against the spread at 45-32, and covered in all 4 of their wins over the Grizzlies after getting stunned in Game 1. Overs are an even 38-38 for the Jazz after the 5 games against Memphis all went over the betting total by a significant amount. Utah ranks top 5 in scoring on both sides of the ball, with the offense averaging 116.4 points per game on shooting splits of 54.4% from 2 and 38.9% from 3. opponents are putting up 107.2 points per game on Utah while shooting 50.4% from 2 and 34.1% from beyond the arc. But the Clippers are a strange team. Just when you think they have it all figured out, they'll go out there and lay an egg. They've been shaky all season long, and it's hard to trust them kicking in the doors at the Vivint Smart Home Arena and not. Mitchell is Utah's leading scorer by a huge amount, averaging 26.4 points per game while dishing out 5.2 assists per contest. Jordan Clarkson is next up at 18.4 points per game, while Gobert is adding 14.3 points, 13.5 rebounds and 2.7 blocks per contest while being the favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year. The Clippers didn't have to wait long for their first bout with adversity in the playoffs. Another season of hype had them shining like Leroy Green from The Last Dragon, only for them to get punched in the mouth right out of the gates by Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks. They looked defeated after dropping back-to-back games at the Staples Center, and nearly every talking head was beginning to write them off. My first betting advice for that game is to pick Utah Jazz minus 3.5. The Clippers survived a brutal 7-game series with the 5th-seeded Dallas Mavericks, winning Game 7 on Sunday by the score of 126-110. This was an historic series as the road team won the first 6 games of the series. The Clippers, playing at home, finally broke that streak with a win at home in Game 7. The Clippers shot 50% and drained 23-pointers. The Los Angeles Clippers are averaging 111.1 points on 48.8% shooting and allowing 106 points on 45.5% shooting. Kawhi Leonard is averaging 32.1 points and 7.9 rebounds while Paul George is averaging 23.6 points and 9 rebounds. Reggie Jackson is the third double-digit scorer and Marcus Morris Sr. is grabbing 4 rebounds. The Los Angeles Clippers are shooting 37.3% from beyond the arc and 84.1% from the free throw line. The Los Angeles Clippers are allowing 38.8% shooting from deep and are grabbing 42 rebounds per game. The top-seeded Utah Jazz took care of business in round 1, beating the Memphis Grizzlies 4-1. The Jazz lost the first game, played without Donovan Mitchell, but then Mitchell returned for Game 2 and the Jazz rolled to 4 straight wins to win the series easily. They've had about a week off, so they are rested and ready to go. The Utah Jazz are averaging 123.4 points on 48.8% shooting and allowing 115 points on 46.8% shooting. Donovan Mitchell is averaging 28.5 points and 5.8 assists while Jordan Clarkson is averaging 18.6 points and 1.4 assists. Bojan Bogdanovic is the third double-digit scorer and Mike Conley is dishing 8.6 assists. The Utah Jazz are shooting 40.6% from beyond the arc and 84.7% from the free throw line. The Utah Jazz are allowing 32.9% shooting from deep and are grabbing 45.6 rebounds per game. While Mitchell is healthy, the Jazz are dealing with a key injury. All-star point guard Mike Conley has been dealing with a hamstring injury and is questionable for Game 1. The Jazz are the 4th highest scoring team in the NBA with 116 points per game and 3rd in points allowed, giving up 107 points per game. They are 1st in rebounds and 4th in three-point shooting. The Clippers are 5-2 ATS in their last 7 road games and 4-1 ATS in their last 5 games overall. The Jazz are 25-12 ATS in their last 37 home games and 4-0 ATS in their last 4 games overall. The under is 16-6-1 in Clippers' last 23 overall. The over is 5-0 in Jazz last 5 overall. The Clippers are 8-21 ATS in the last 29 meetings in Utah and 3-9 ATS in the last 12 meetings. My second betting advice for that game is to pick over 220.5. Good luck to all of you. That's it for this video. Stay tuned and stay safe for the next betting tips and advice.